We're here to idea everyone, to fire up your curiosity and connect you with the people and ideas that shape our world. Watch, listen, understand, connect, create. Let's move the human story forward together.
Hello and welcome to The Poetry of Science, a podcast which provides insight into new scientific research via the medium of poetry. I'm your host, Dr. Sam Illingworth, and each week I'll be introducing you to some of the latest scientific findings and sharing a selection of science-themed poetry. After all, we could all do with a little bit more poetry in our lives. In this episode, I'll be exploring new research which has found that bird species' body size may predict the rate of climate change. In concrete wilds and wilder woods, beady eyes fix the horizon, gazing at shadows over bright and distant lines. A dance of life, a natural rhyme, feathers cast in flight and song, as with urgency nature pens its tale of wings and sighs and loss. Shapes transform, pinions drift, frames condense, shifting patterns collapsing in chromatic array, shrinking reflections painted over warming skies, a feathered chorus bearing witness to our change. This poem is inspired by recent research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, which has found that climate change is driving the world's birds to evolve at varying speeds, transforming their bodies and wings in a race against time. All around the world, the physical characteristics of birds are changing quickly. Many studies show similar trends in how these changes are happening. However, the speed of these changes differs between different bird species, and we don't yet fully understand why this is happening. One possible factor to consider is the impact of climate change, which could be causing different bird species to adapt at different rates in response to changing environmental conditions. In this new study, researchers combined data from two previous studies that examined changes in the body size and wing length of over 86,000 bird specimens across North and South America. One study looked at migrating birds in Chicago that died after colliding with buildings, while the other focused on non-migrating birds captured in the Amazon. Despite differences in species composition, geography, and data collection methods, both studies showed consistent declines in body size and increases in wing length. The analysis also revealed that smaller birds saw a quicker decrease in body size and a faster growth in wing length. As the world gets warmer, birds with larger bodies might face a higher risk of dying out. On the other hand, birds with smaller bodies might have a better chance of surviving if their quick physical changes help them adapt better to the changing environment. Now that you've heard the science, let me read the poem to you again. In concrete wilds and wilder woods, beady eyes fix the horizon, gazing at shadows over bright and distant lines, a dance of life, a natural rhyme, feathers cast in flight and song, as with urgency nature pens its tale of wings and sighs and loss. Shapes transform, pinions drift, frames condense, shifting patterns collapsing in chromatic array, shrinking reflections painted over warming skies, a feathered chorus bearing witness to our change. In this section of the podcast, I'd like to share a poem written by another poet on a topic related to the science that has been discussed so far. In this episode, I'll be reading Confessions of a Birdwatcher by Shad Diniyord. Shad Diniyord is an American poet and author who was born in New Haven, Connecticut in 1952. He earned a BA in Religious Studies from Lynchburg College, a Master's of Divinity from Yale Divinity School, and an MFA from the Iowa Writers' Workshop. He is the author of several poetry collections, including Asleep in the Fire, published in 1990, Night Mowing, published in 2005, and At Sleep at the Clinic, published in 2020. He is a recipient of a Pushcart Prize and was Poet Laureate of Vermont from 2015 to 2019. Confession of a Birdwatcher by Shard Deniord. The windows are dressed in feathers where the birds have flown against them, then fallen below into the flowers where their bodies lie grounded still, slowly disappearing each day until all that's left are their narrow, prehensile bones. I have sat at my window now for years and watched 100 birds mistake the glass for air and break their necks, wondering what to do, how else to live amongst them and keep my view, not to mention the sight of them at the feeder in the morning, especially the cardinal in snow. What sign to post on the sill that says, "Warning, large glass window, fatal if struck, fly around or above but not away. There are seeds in the feeder and water in the bath. I need you," which is to say, I'm sorry for my genius as the creature inside to attract you with seeds and watch as you die against the window I've built with the knowledge of its danger to you, with a heart that rejects its reasons in favour of keeping what it wants. The sight of you. The sight of you. Thank you for listening to the Poetry of Science.
Thank you very much for being with us for this episode of the ideaXme Show. ideaXme is a global platform. Our mission is to move the human story forward by sharing knowledge of the future. You can find us on all major audio networks at www.radioideaXme.com, on YouTube and Vimeo. Please subscribe.